Somewhere inside a cheerful 1980s pizzeria, 5 children vanished without a trace. Their bodies were never found. But something in that building started moving on its own, watching the night guards, whispering through machines that were never supposed to feel anything at all. This is the real story behind Five Nights at Freddy's 2. With the FNAF 2 movie dominating the box office, millions of new fans are stepping into this world for the very first time. But the film is built on a game lore so twisted, so carefully hidden, that even longtime fans still argue about it. So let's break down what's really going on. To understand the second game, you have to understand the first restaurant. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was a beloved family destination, famous for its singing animatronic band. Freddy the Bear, Bonnie the Rabbit, and Chica the Chicken performed for laughing kids every single day. On the surface, it was pure joy. But beneath the flashing lights and birthday cake, the company had a dark history. Employees whispered about strange smells, about animatronics that seemed to move when no one was looking, and about a tragedy that management desperately wanted to keep buried. The pizzeria was hiding something. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is actually a prequel. It takes place before the events of the first game in a brand new, upgraded location. To draw in more families, the company built shiny new animatronics called the toy versions, smoother, friendlier, and packed with cutting-edge technology. These toy animatronics were beautiful, but they came with a hidden feature. They had facial recognition software connected to a criminal database, scanning every adult who walked through the door. The company installed it because they were terrified. Something had happened here before, and they were trying to prevent it from happening again. You play as a night security guard named Jeremy Fitzgerald. Your job sounds simple. Sit in an office, watch the cameras, and make sure the animatronics stay where they belong. But from the very first night, a voice on the phone warns you that these machines don't stay still after dark. There are no doors to protect you in this location. Instead, you're given a Freddy Fazbear mask. When an animatronic enters your office, you slip the mask on and pray it mistakes you for one of its own. Take it off too soon, and something waiting in the dark will lunge. The old animatronics from the first restaurant are still here too, but they're in ruins. Called the withered animatronics, they're torn apart, wires exposed, faces cracked and hanging open. The company salvaged them but never repaired them. And at night, these broken machines hunt you with a desperate, twitching hunger. Why are they so damaged? That's where the horror deepens. These aren't just faulty robots. Something is inside them. The lore tells us that the spirits of murdered children are trapped within these metal shells, and they can no longer tell friend from enemy. They just want to be free. Now we reach the heart of it all, the missing children incident. According to the story, a man dressed in a company uniform lured 5 children into a back room of the original pizzeria. He murdered them and hid their bodies inside the animatronic suits. The staff never realized why the machines began to smell. This killer became known to fans as the Purple Guy because of how he appears in the game's blocky, pixelated minigames, a violet figure with a wide, unnerving smile. He is the true villain of the entire franchise, and every haunting traces back to what he did in that back room. The children's souls, filled with rage and confusion, refused to move on. They possessed the animatronics that became their tombs. This is why the machines chase the night guards. In their broken minds, every adult could be the man who killed them, and they're searching endlessly for revenge. But there's one more animatronic that stands apart from the rest. In FNAF 2, you meet the puppet, also called the marionette, a tall, thin figure with a white porcelain face, black tear streaks, and a painted smile. It lives inside a music box, and it is unlike anything else in the building. To keep the puppet asleep, you must constantly wind a music box through the cameras. If the music ever stops, the puppet awakens, and unlike the others, nothing can save you from it. No mask, no light. It simply comes for you. So who or what is this thing? Fan theories, later confirmed by the games, reveal the puppet is possessed by a very special child, one who was killed outside the restaurant, alone in the rain. This spirit is different. Instead of seeking revenge, the puppet tries to help the other lost children, giving their souls a place to rest inside the suits. That's the tragic twist. The puppet is essentially the protector of the dead children. It's the one who gathered their spirits and gave them purpose. In a story full of monsters, the most frightening-looking creature might be the closest thing to a guardian angel. Now for the mystery that gives this game its name in fan circles, the Bite of 87. Throughout the series, characters reference a horrifying incident where an animatronic bit a person's head, causing them to lose the frontal lobe of their brain. Astonishingly, the victim survived. For years, fans debated exactly which animatronic caused it and who the victim was. Because FNAF 2 takes place in 1987, many believe the bite happened during this game, possibly caused by one of the unstable toy animatronics whose faces could split apart into terrifying jaws. Later games complicated the theory, suggesting there may have been more than one famous bite. But in the context of FNAF 2, the Bite of 87 hangs over everything like a curse, proof that these machines are dangerously, lethally out of control, and that management knew people could get hurt. So why keep the restaurant open at all? The lore reveals that management valued profit and reputation over safety. They installed facial recognition to catch the killer. They hired guards to babysit haunted machines, but they never addressed the real horror lurking in their own building. As the nights go on, the phone guy's warnings grow more frantic. He mentions the animatronics have been acting strange, that they may associate him with something bad. His calls paint a picture of a company slowly losing control of forces it never understood in the first place. There's also the terrifying figure of Mangle, a toy fox torn apart so badly by rough handling that staff gave up rebuilding it, leaving it as a tangled heap of wires and parts. Mangle crawls across the ceiling toward your office, a spider-like nightmare of scattered metal. And then there are the shadowy secrets, rare glitchy figures that appear for only a moment. Shadow, Freddy and Shadow Bonnie flicker into view as pitch-black animatronics with glowing eyes, hinting at even deeper layers of the story that Scott Cawthon buried for fans to discover. When you piece the theories together, a full picture emerges. The killer murdered children. The children possessed the suits. The puppet gathered their souls. The company covered it up. And every night, Guard becomes a target for spirits who cannot tell the living from the man who ended their lives. The final night of the game hints at a going-away party for one last child, and a minigame where you, playing as the killer, strike again. It's a gut-punch reveal that connects this prequel directly to the murders that started everything in the original restaurant. So how does the FNAF 2 movie fit in? Films adapt and rearrange this dense lore for the screen, blending timelines and characters to tell a cohesive story. Knowing the game's version means you'll spot the references, understand the animatronics pain, and see the tragedy the film is built upon. That's the genius of Five Nights at Freddy's. On the surface, it's jump scares and cameras. Underneath, it's a heartbreaking ghost story about murdered children, guilt, and machines that became their prisons. Every scream hides a soul that just wants to finally rest. So before you step into that theater, remember what you're really watching. Not just robots in the dark, but the echoes of 5 children, a hidden killer, and a haunted music box that keeps the nightmare from ever fully waking. That's the terrifying truth behind Five Nights at Freddy's 2. If this breakdown helped the pieces click into place, subscribe for more deep dives into gaming's darkest lore. Drop your favorite fan theory in the comments. Do you think the bite of 87 happened in this game? And stick around, because the next chapter of this nightmare is even stranger.